Today's lesson is the last lesson of semester 1 for algebra. We will be covering system of inequality notes. So I would like you to look at your notes and see on the top we have step 1, step 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the same as your little half sheet of paper that I gave you for bell work on one of the days before we left for winter break. In addition to those steps, I also reminded you that this symbol that I just highlighted is greater than. This is greater than or equal to. This symbol right here, when it's open towards the right, it's less than or equal to. I tend to remember that that kind of looks like an open L, and you can spell the word less. So that's how I remember the directions. And then less than has no line under it. So when we were covering this topic in topic 1, greater than had an open circle, greater than or equal to had a closed circle, less than or equal to also had enclosed, and then we had an open circle for less than. What that means is when you have an open circle, it's a boundary. That number that it's identifying with is not included. When it is a closed circle, that means that number is included. It can be part of the answer. So I want you to think of it as the same idea. However, this is linear inequalities when we have two variables. So in step 2, we're talking about a solid line or a dotted line. So the greater than symbol used to be an open circle, but now we can think of it as a dotted line. And it doesn't matter what direction, it depends on your problem. The closed circle can identify now as a solid line. And once again, your direction will matter based on your graph, which I will show in a moment. Now, if you tend to forget which symbol represents the dashed line or the solid line, we will be able to show you on the calculator. And you should have that handout by now on the steps of graphing on the calculator to make sure that your paper by hand is correct. So the first thing you want to do is follow the steps. So you want to go through step 1 through 4, at least for the first one, and then graph the second one. So it says y is greater than 2x plus 5. So that means our m is 2 over 1, and our b is 5. So we're going to graph it like a normal y equals mx plus b. So up 5, then up 2 rows, right 1, up 2, right 1. And then when you run out of room, do the opposite. Now, I really recommend you at this point have a ruler or a piece of paper or your ID, something to make sure that this is straight. So since my symbol is greater than, that leads to step 2. Since it's greater than, I know that it's going to be a dotted line or a dashed line. So that's just going to act like a boundary. Now step 3, since it's a greater than, we're going to be shading above. So what I would like you to do is put your pencil on your boundary line and start going up. And I want you to do this for the entire line. Okay. Now if you want to shade lightly. If you want to do different colors, please do so. I'm just going to do different colors, and then I'm just going to do lines like that so it doesn't get too overwhelming for you. Now my second inequality. So I completed 1, 2, 3. Step 4 says repeat with the next linear inequality. So I'm going to do the exact same steps. I'm going to graph my second line like I would a normal equation. I'm going to start at -4, and then I'm going to go down 3 blocks, right 1, down 3, right 1. And then I'm going to do the opposite, up 3, left 1, up 3, left 1. Now I'm going to look at the symbol. It says greater than. Once again, greater than is a dashed line. Step 3 says, since it's greater than, we're going to be shading above. So on my black line, I'm going to, once again, put my pencil on the line and shade up. Make sure you do that for every single part. Now notice if you just keep your pencil on the line, what about this part? Well, that part is also included. This is included because our black line goes on forever. So if we were to fix the screen, remember it would go all the way and we could keep going and going and going. We just have a 10 by 10 window, so that's kind of why you just kind of have to visualize it. Now, finally, since there is no next linear inequality, we can move to step 5. The overlapping area where my red and black meet, that is the solution area. That is where the solutions are. So, like I said before break, I highly, highly recommend you do not pick a point on the line. You pick a point in the region. So, for example, -2, if I go straight up to 10, that is definitely in my double shaded area. It's in my red and my black. You can just do -2, 8 if you want to stick with just like the vertical points. You can do -1, 20. Even though it's not on my grid, I know my double shaded area keeps going. Now, if you follow the steps on your handout, I'm going to go to new document. If it asks you to save, please don't. Now you want to hit the delete button and you want to match your symbol for the first inequality. So my symbol was greater than, so it supplies it for me. And then I just entered 2x plus 5. And notice how they shaded. You do have to move your cursor around to show that it is truly a dotted line. It's kind of misleading if you don't move it around first because it looks like it's solid, but it's clearly dotted if you highlight over it. So make sure that your shading is like this, okay? So the calculator started at 5, went up to right 1, then it went down to left 1, down to left 1. So you still have to show those points, just like we did on our paper. Now to show the entry line, hit Tab. Now you have to go to the bottom to hit Y. Now for the second one, it's still greater than. So hit Control equal, and then find that symbol, which we did. And then it is -3x minus 4. So once again, look how misleading that red line is. If you move your cursor, you can in fact see that it is a dotted line. And then any part in this purplish area, because blue and red make purple, this double shaded is your solution set. So any ordered pair that falls in this double shaded or overlapping area our answers. I can even grab the screen and see how big the solution set truly is. So even though we only see part of it, it goes on forever. All right, here I want you to pause. I would like the substitute to pause the video if you are watching it as a class. And I want you to attempt the problem on the right to see if you can graph it and shade it correctly. And then double check on the calculator. And once you do that, please hit resume so you can check your answer. For the problem to the right, the your turn, you want to do the first inequality. So you want to begin at positive 5 because that's a y-intercept. And then your slope is rise 1, right 3, rise 1, right 3. And then you're going to do the opposite, which is down and to the left 3. So down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3. Now you want to look at the symbol. This symbol is less than or equal to. So since we have that equal to, step 2 says to draw a solid line. And then now that we're dealing with less than, put your pencil on the line and go below the inequality. And now I will switch colors. And I will do the second inequality. So the second inequality begins at negative 2. And then be careful, 3 can be written as 3 over 1. So we go up 3 levels, right 1, up 3 levels, right 1. And do that until you run out of room. And then do the opposite. So this is really important for you not to shade very dark because you will have a very hard time plotting the second inequality. And notice I am doing a dotted line because I am now on a greater than symbol. So greater than says dotted or dashed. And then that inequality symbol is greater than. So the whole area above the dashed line or dotted line will be a solution set for that inequality. Now, step 5 says the overlapping area is where the solutions are. So once again, I'm just going to highlight the overlapping area, the blue and the red. And then I will show you what it means to be a solution. So anywhere in that purple, so for example, negative 6, negative 3, if you plug that back in to our red inequality, so if you put negative 3 in for y, and then 1/3 negative 6 plus 5, it is telling you that negative 3 is less than or equal to a positive 3, which is a true statement. And then if you look at your blue inequality, if you plug that same ordered pair in, negative 3 is in fact greater than negative 20. So that double shaded area is our too true section. So we have negative 6, negative 3, and then you can do another one, for example, negative 9, comma 0. Now, if you want to pause it once again to try the bottom left, please do so at this time, and then check your answer. All right, so we're going to begin at positive 3, because that's my b value. And then remember, when the negative sign is in front of the fraction, just throw it in the numerator, which means down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, and then do the opposite, up and to the left. Now using your step 2, it is less than, so there's no equal sign, so it's a dashed line, and less than means below. And then for my second inequality, we're going to go back to step 1. We're going to begin at -3, and this time we're going to go up 3 levels, right 5, up 3, right 5, do the opposite, down 3, left 5. Now this is less than or equal to, so we're going to draw a solid line, and then we are going to shade below. So since blue and red make purple, I will just shade this to clarify. This whole region right here is the solution set because that's the overlapping. So let's say 4, -4, and then 6, -10. And remember, you want to practice putting it into the calculator. So let's delete, go to new document, always hit no if it asks. Hit the delete button. My first inequality is less than. So hit the delete, and then we are going to do number 2. And that's -1 over 2x plus 3. Okay, so clearly I graphed it right. Remember, move the cursor so you can see that it's actually a dotted line. You want to hit tab, go all the way to the bottom to hit Y. So then it's less than or equal to, so control equal. And then 3 over 5x minus 3. So this shows and confirms that we are correct. Notice that it's less than or equal to, and my red line is a solid line, just like how you graphed. So once again, please hit pause here. Try to do the bottom right by yourself, and then confirm it on the calculator. So here we're going to plot it at a +2, and then the slope is up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. And then you're going to do the opposite. Notice that it is greater than or equal to, so that equal to part makes it a solid line, and then greater means you're going to shade above. And then the next one, you're going to begin at -2 because that's our y-intercept, and then down 1, right 2. And you're going to do that until you run out of space. Now it's less than or equal to, so equal to makes it a solid line. And then less than is below. So you want to shade completely below. Now notice the overlapping area. It looks kind of small, but remember it goes on forever. If you want to see more ordered points or ordered pairs, then you can enter it into the calculator. But this actually gives us more than enough information. So that's -9, 2. I'm sorry, -9, 0. I can do -8 comma -1. And your ordered pairs don't have to be the same as mine. However, they do need to be in the double shaded. So if you want, you can double check, hit the delete button. So the first one was greater than or equal to. One half x plus 2. All right, so my first graph is correct. It's a solid line. I plotted it at the y-intercept of +2, and I did the correct slope. Now the next one, hit tab, and then it says y is less than or equal to. And then -1/2 x minus 2. So there you go. And the part that I said, if you grab your screen or you play with the zoom, you can see all of the double shaded area. So if you don't want to pick the two numbers or the two ordered pairs that I did, there's an infinite amount of solution for you to choose from. All right, so those 4 are guided. The last problems, please work on. Please be mindful of this right here. The third one, when y equals 3, you go to 3 and you just draw a horizontal line. However, here it's a dashed line. And then it says y is greater than 3. So that one's a little tricky. So that's kind of why I just did that one for you. So just be mindful of that. There are no other special cases on the back of this worksheet.